going on, Jerome? It's a beautiful Wednesday. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. So the Minnesota Vikings and Kwesi adofo-mensah were at things again on Tuesday, the second day of legal tampering. The new league year starts today at 3 p.m. Central Time, the only time zone that matters, and the Vikings, making these deals official and all that stuff. So the Vikings, kind of happy with how things have turned up thus far. So the Vikings are doubling down on interior offensive line with Will Fries, Ryan Kelly, teammates, which chemistry is very important. Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave adding instant pass rush, as well as both of them were cut. Don't count against the comp picks, which is important. They ran it back with Murph, which after the full detail, we haven't updated the numbers on this, but after the full details of Murph's contract came out, the same thing with Jonathan Allen, it's very digestible. Like it's pretty damn easy to take. Now, players that you lost, Vikings did lose Trent Sherfield as well. Kind of sucks. I love Trent Sherfield. But Darnold, Daniel Jones, Beasley, Patrick Jones second, Nick Mullins, as well as Johnny Munt. Basically, everyone you expected to lose. Also, Cam Robinson is going to be in that mix as well. So sort of is what it is. Like maybe they could have kept Beasley. Maybe they could have kept Mullins or Daniel Jones. But, it is what it is, right? And now, here's what's glorious is that the Vikings are freed up to do whatever the hell they want at 24. So they can trade down, they can take B, P, A, because they sutured up a lot of needs, right? And yeah, they do need to add a running back too, as well as a backup quarterback, but all that will get taken care of. But glaring, open, festering wounds, defensive line pass rush, interior offensive line help, cornerback, like those boxes got checked. So now, if it's a corner that's your best player at 24, that's great. Defensive lineman, offensive lineman, tight end. Loveland with J.J. McCarthy one time, as we floated before. Running back Amari and Hampton. Like, do we do this? Why the hell not? So, Nick Emenware, sure. But it's pretty good. Honestly, I'm probably about as happy as I could be after the first couple of days of open legal tampering. And the Vikings and Kwesi did the damn thing. So first off, Jonathan Allen, where it reported as a 3-year, $60 million deal. It's really a 1-year, $15 million deal with some injury guarantees. But what Jonathan Allen does bring, just turned 30 in January, can still get after that passer, man. Like man-size strength, a great leadership. And with that contract, he's going to be a 3-down player. And Jonathan Allen, amongst all defensive interiors since 2020, 90.7 PFF pass rush grade, 5th best in the league, as well as a 14.9% pass rush win rate, which is 5th best in the NFL. Also, Javon Hargrave. I like this pickup a lot. So Javon Hargrave is pure instant pass rush. A little bit undersized, but he is your B-gap exploder. Has had a great career, a couple seasons with the Steelers, bounced to the Eagles, had an 11-sack season, signed a big-time contract with the 49ers, tore a triceps, which cost him most of 2024, and they let him go because San Francisco's cutting everyone. But official contract details will be in today, but Hargrave is going to be fantastic. So what it looks like is that Jonathan Allen is going to be a true 3-down player for the Vikings. I wouldn't be shocked if Hargrave isn't just a 3rd-down pass rush specialist. A little bit undersized, but he certainly can get his own pass rush super quick in that B gap. So pretty fired up to see what's going to happen. And also, PFF Vikings again, since 2021, 92.4 PFF pass rush grade, 4th amongst defensive interiors. So that beep bop up with Jonathan Allen would probably be 5th. Yeah, even with shifting parameters. But overall, like both these guys coincidentally have been cut off of premium contracts with their respective teams. Allen had a torn pec, which he came back in the playoff game, had 9 pressures in the Lions game in the Commies upset over Detroit, as well as Hargrave, like we said, had that torn tricep, even though he did get 6 pressures and a sack against the Rams in the game they tore his tricep. So get after things. Also, 2 defensive linemen with 10% plus pass rush rate, which is huge. Also, Allen, 73 quarterback hits. Right. So in terms of sacks, obviously 25 sacks in the last 4 years. Well, basically 3.5 since both of them missed significant portions of 2024. But that's fine. But how much havoc do you wreak? Right. Because how many of those pressures, how many of those quarterback hits disrupted plays? Lots of them. And sacks are sack. There's a little bit of puck luck in there too. But just how much can you consistently disrupt the quarterback? That's what we need, and that's what we got here in 2 fantastic veteran pass rushers. So Allen, Hargrave, Phillips, Jalen Redmond going to be in that mix, LDR, Takitami on the nose, and also pair that up with Grenard, Van Ginkel, Diamond Dallas Turner as well. Woo, baby. Like, this pass rush all of a sudden went from 6 to midnight. It's going to be really, really damn good. And a team that was top 5 in most pressure categories last year, too. Also, potentially the largest signing for the Vikings, just because of age as well as need at guard, Will Fries. So Will Fries, 5-year, $88 million deal. Now, wait until the full numbers come out, which is really important. Guarantees, cash flows, cap hits, all of that matters. But yeah, we joked yesterday after they signed Ryan Kelly, oh, baby, just bring some fries with that shake. Well, we got him. And Will Fries, frankly, I think situates well in with the Vikings. Played right guard throughout his entire career. I think that he should stick there because, remember, Ryan Kelly and Fries have spent the last 4 years together. So they already have that chemistry in terms of picking up stunts and blitzes and games. And just that verbal and nonverbal communication, that's already built in. That's going to be huge. PFF likes Will Fries, before going down with injury last season, 86.9 PFF grade, third amongst guards in week 5, which is unfortunate because he was really setting up for a monster year in a contract season, but still got paid. And the Vikings right now, that offensive line is looking good. So left guard still TBD. Could still add in free agency. The Vikings, depending on some of the contracts being reported right now, the Vikings have around $50 million in cap space still. And also, you do have the draft where the Vikings at 24, Booker, Donovan Jackson, Gray Zabel, a little bit later on, Tate Ratledge. Why not? And also you got Ryan Kelly at center, Will Fries at right guard, Darrisaw left tackle, O'Neal right tackle, plus Darrisaw left tackle, O'Neal right tackle. Plus he added Walter Rouse as well as Michael Jurgens, who I like a lot. And what do you do with Bradbury? Can you trade him to the Falcons? Could they have needs one time? Certainly could be. But also a mandate for Kwesi this offseason was adding the meats along the trenches, and they certainly did that. So Will Fries, Ron Kelly along the O-line, Hargrave and Jonathan Allen on the D-line, 1,187 pounds. I love it, man. It's exactly what the Vikings need to. They needed stoutness along the interior offensive line. Kelly and Fries have that in spades. And, hey, we can stop the run. We can work on stop the run. That's fine. We need instant individual pass rush. And Hargrave as well as Allen are both that. It's really good. Someone's not great, so fortunately lost Trent Sherfield to the Broncos. Stupid at Sean Payton. Now, Sherfield is a special teams standout. He's an absolute dynamo. Great as a punt gunner. Great in the locker room as well. Made some nice catches as well as like a wide receiver 5 for the Vikings. But Vikings do have Najee Thompson coming on back, and he's a special team superstar as well. So glad that Sherfield got paid. Might enter into the comp pick, but we'll see. Yeah, either way, Broncos got themselves a good one. Go from there. Also, officially announced what everyone knew. Vikings do get a third-round pick for Kirk Cousins, number 97 overall. Everyone knew that. But looking forward to 2026. Here's where things stand right now. This is back in the envelope. This is a little bit of over the cap. This is a little bit of our own shooting from the hip, guesstimating. So there you go. But as of right now, the Vikings are likely looking at a third-round comp pick for Sam Darnold because you got Fries and Beasley canceling each other out, Daniel Jones, Ryan Kelly, Patrick Jones second, Isaiah Rodgers canceling each other out as well. Maybe Sherfield comes into the equation as like a 7th-round pick, but we'll see. Remember, you only get 32 picks out of the free agent comp pick pool. Teams can get a maximum of 4 from 3 to 7. But I do think that Cam Robinson is still going to get decent money. Now, if it's around $15 million per year, the Vikings could get a 4. If it's around 10 or less, it would be a 5. So either way, the Vikings probably set up pretty good. And I think that if the Vikings do sign more free agents, it might be some in-house guys. It might be players coming off a cut contract, which wouldn't count. So, like we said, obviously the Hargrave and Jonathan Allen aren't on this list. Otherwise, the Vikings would be kaput. They'd be SOL. But Kwesi and the front office is very cognizant of that. And we did talk about how free agency is a tax on teams that can't draft, and the Vikings have had to dip into free agency quite a bit over the last 2 off seasons. And I like what they did, but hopefully it gets to a spot where you're consistently drafting and developing talent in-house, and not overspending in free agency is a sign of a healthy organization. You look at who hasn't done anything, or they've done very minimal so far. You look at the Ravens, who outside of Nuke Hopkins, whatever. Also, the Eagles haven't done a ton of free agency either. So there's a couple of teams that just get it, right? And getting comp picks as well as not overspending free agency. That's a sign of a well-run organization. Hopefully, the Vikings will get to that spot. I'm sure that's Kwesi's long-term goal. Also, here's what's interesting. So, obviously, it's not Aaron Rodgers. But the Vikings are in need of a backup quarterback. After Daniel Jones left, Sam Darnold left, as well as Nick Mullins. He gone. Mike Silver. In the Vikings organization, Kevin O'Connell's opinion carries the most weight when it comes to quarterback decisions. There's some very interesting conversations taking place right now. Now, it does annoy me when the media just puts cryptic stuff out like this because you can't prove that he's right or wrong, right? So more importantly, you can't prove that he's wrong. So you can just put it out there and everyone just sort of interprets it the way that they want to interpret it. So like, oh, does that mean that J.J. McCarthy's not the starter? Does that mean that Aaron Rodgers coming in? Does that mean that they're going to trade for Anthony Richardson? Just so stupid. It's like no risk, but high reward in terms of engagement as well as, ooh, I'm cryptic. Ooh, I know things. I don't know. But does Kevin O'Connell's opinion carry weight when it comes to quarterback decision? Yeah. I mean, obviously it should. He's the offensive play caller. He's the head coach. He's a former quarterback. It probably should. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous. But we'll see. Also, speaking of seeing, so Harrison Smith, 5th day of the new league year, the Vikings got to decide. Otherwise, he gets $26 million guaranteed in 2026. But all signs point to Harrison returning. I think that the Prince photo will be back. I think that sexy MFer will be back in purple for one last ride, one more season. He, Theo Jackson, Josh Metellus, covering things on the back end and go from there. Let's win one for Harrison and let him walk off into the sunset. All that stuff. But your thoughts are thoughts. Beautiful. Wednesday, Vikings news dump. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.